G'day everybody, and we're having a look at some of the information that was dropped a couple of days ago about Ark 2. They have a new trailer, which I will probably be having in the background right now, and depending on how long it is, I'll have it play in full at the end. Otherwise, we're going to have a look at some of the detail that they actually put into their little post. They go on a little bit about the epic story, which is basically Santiago, who is depicted as Vin Diesel, or Vin Diesel is depicted as Santiago, and his daughter Mika, who is actually voiced by Moana, Wally Cravalho. I'm going to butcher that name. There's probably a better way of saying that. At any rate, it does speak to a bit more of a narrative-driven story. Other than that, we're looking at some of the more interesting parts of the features, which is cross-platform modding. And this one, I think, is actually one of the things I would be lovely if they could actually make it go backwards and start looking at Ark and actually allowing modded Ark for Xbox. That would be just a perler, but I doubt that will happen. It's probably a hell of a lot of effort to make that happen. But it's coming in Ark 2, and that's bloody fantastic. Next up is some of the stuff that I'm not too happy about, I guess. We're looking at third-person only gameplay, which sounds a little bit strange, given that in a dinosaur world it would be much more preferable to be able to go into first person to experience everything in terms of, looking up at dinosaurs that are attacking you, or maybe you've got a wonderful scene that you basically want to survey. And rather than doing it from over the shoulder, first person would be much nicer for stuff like that. But it goes on to basically say it's for character traveling mechanics like mantling, free climbing, parkour, sliding and swinging. Which kind of, I think, basically it ties into the next point, which is Souls-like melee combat with target locks, blocks, dodges, combos, special attacks, etc., for skill-based combat. But tying in with the previous third-person only, you've got games like Elden Ring, which is just out recently. You've got Horizon Zero Dawn, which is probably a closer thing to the mark with the world that you're interacting with, albeit that this is meant to be a survival game. It's not meant to be a story-driven narrative is great and all. If it's going to be a survival game, surely you need a little bit more of an open world, which doesn't follow a main quest line, even though that's possibly, and it really looks like that's the way that it's actually going to go. So I'm expecting something like Horizon Zero Dawn, really, based on all that information. But we'll have to wait and see. More and more info as it comes. A massive new alien environment, mysterious, chaotic, native flora overrunning with primeval creatures. Onto some more of the other stuff, so component-based item crafting, and so you can construct things with modules and everything else like that, which, again, Horizon Zero Dawn, you basically have your various weapons that you upgrade, you find modifications along the way, and you make it different in different ways. Whether it does more fire damage, maybe it has more defense, etc., and these special materials, it's got a little bit of that in there. Dynamic world events, so what you do will change the game world. No, it's not really what you... Things that you do will have a consequence, and then, based on what you choose, you'll get different rewards or challenges. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out, whether there'll actually be things that change in the world as a result of your actions, which would be very difficult if it's going to be an open survival game with multiple players. But if you're in your own world and story, then the changing world would make sense. But I have to wait and see how that one actually plays out. Opposing PvE force, so basically a hostile NPC faction, which sounds all well and good, but again, this is going more towards things like Horizon Zero Dawn once again. Advanced template building and sharing. Now this one I do like. This one's nice. This is actually more of a network-based thing. Or a systems-based thing. Basically, when you build a structure, and maybe you're building a giant castle and it's got 100 bloody pieces, it's got thousands of pieces, maybe even you've got tens of thousands of pieces, that has to load in every time you actually come into the game. And it has to load piece by piece. It can't just load them all at once, because each piece is its own individual thing in its own right. And this template thing that they're talking about is that you blueprint the structure that you actually want to actually make, making it a single structure, and then you can then give the blueprint to somebody else and they can build the exact same structure. But it would mean that when it loads, it's a single item. It's not a multi-item thing. And it'd be interesting, that one, whether that one actually plays out how it's actually thinking in my head, but it supposedly will translate to a much better performance because you're not loading in huge structures which are made up of thousands of pieces. Next one. So your sensory-based creature AI, basically they'll have the ability for sight, sound and smell, and so they're basically hiding. You have camouflage, and this one, I guess another one there is Monster Hunter would probably be another example of some of the stuff that we've actually been talking about. So Elden Ring, Horizon Zero Dawn, Monster Hunter, and then with all the things like the creature stuff, you can even look at games like The Isle, which do scent and things like that. Next up will be character progression and skill system. Gain experience not just from skill points, but also from doing things in the world and gaining objectives. And I don't mind that one. It's nice that, what's that one's like ESO and things like that. So you do certain actions and you gain skill levels by doing that action repetitively, and whether or not that's actually what they're talking about there. And lastly, that they talk about utilizing Unreal Engine 5, which it makes sense to definitely be doing that. I'll leave a link up to where I've actually been reading this, as there is also some stuff there which is a message from the founders and goes on a little bit about the animated series with some screenshots and things like that. But to leave my final thoughts on this whole thing, really it looks like they're trying to do maybe way too much. They're trying to basically take cherry pick bits of all these other games that are out there and gone, well, that feature did really well, that feature did really well, and we'll grab that feature from over there, that one did really well as well, and see if we can cram them all into this one game, and then yeah, surely it will be the best game ever, it'll be revolutionary, yada yada yada. But yeah, maybe they should actually have a core idea and add things to it before deciding that everything else needs to be in there first. Maybe they've done that, who knows. But at the moment it looks like, because we haven't really got very much to go on, it just looks like they're trying to do everything that seems like it's cool out there in the world. And I've never really seen that go well for a game. But it would be lovely to be proven wrong, because if they do pull it off, maybe it will be the greatest game ever. Maybe it will be the revolutionary game in the survival realm. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for listening in. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Subscribe to see more, and give the video a like, as it really helps out in the algorithm as I'm trying to grow my channel. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you in the next one.
My dad tells stories of a terrible war that happened across the sky. Heroes fought and died to give us a chance to start over. All that I know from their Earth are the creatures they sent along with us. And here on Arat, every day is a fight to survive. But if anyone can tame this new world, we can.